Hi there, I hope you're doing well and welcome to my flower painting tutorial. But before we start, I need to do some housekeeping first. If you like to decorate your space with some beautiful and affordable artworks, consider joining me on Patreon. Link is in the right corner of the video. Because not only are you getting a lifelong 10% discount for my online store, where I offer both prints and original artworks, you also can choose a monthly print for only $30 including shipping and get the chance to win an original mixed media illustration every month. Check out my other fantastic deals to get your art collection started. If you're an artist and interested in technique and art materials, I have specific posts for this topic and I'm glad to answer all your questions. So head over to patreon.com/Lioba Brückner. So as you can see, I'm painting here a beautiful white lily for this painting, and I always starting off or mostly with an underpainting or with a sketch that I've done with oil painting. So as you can see, I'm filling out the petals of the lily with the ground color of the flower, which is a light white yellow, and I'm mixing it with titanium white and Naples yellow. You can also mix it with yellow ochre. So I'm following the contours of the flower. On the left side you see the reference for the lily, and you can see that I also simplified the form of the lily. It's not that curly and detailed. I rather simplify the form because I like to have it more straightforward and have the form a little bit more simple than the original reference. So as you can see, it takes a little time to fill out the lily, and I put a book behind my canvas because it seemed to go, the painting falls back to the easel, and which I found very annoying. So I put the book behind it. So it's maybe a little trick that you can use too. So and now I'm adding the highlights on the border or the edges of the petals. From my experience, every flower has its own or needs its own method. With this flower, I started with the light tones, and now I'm adding the middle tones and the darker tones. And I'm carefully carving out the form of the petals and try to incorporate the little folds and the curliness of every petal. I find that lilies are quite difficult to paint because it is very important to get the form of the petals right, and also these curly highlights on the borders, which I find very beautiful and I try to work out. So now I'm refining everything a little bit and trying to get everything right as best as I can with the first layer of white. It's some flowers, especially flowers which have pollen stems, always needs at least 2 layers of oil paint. Oh, and here you see my gradient brush. It's a very smooth haired brush which I use to make super smooth gradients, and it has to be dry, and then you can just touch the surface of the canvas very slightly and it makes a beautiful smooth gradient. Here you see that I adjust the form of the petals a little. I redecided and get some of the details like the curly ends of the petals, and I'm also adding a little bit of a contour to each petal, although the reference doesn't have it in real life, but I like to have it contoured out. I think it's very beautiful. Some things are looking better if you add a contour to them or make it a little bit more comic-like. In my opinion, it's just how I do it. So I'm making the form a little bit better. Yeah, what I wanted to say is that especially flowers with pollen stems need at least two layers of oil paint, because the first layer are the flower petals, and then it has to be dried, and the first or the second layer, because whites are not opaque, not 100% opaque. If you like to have 100% white highlights, you need to do at least 2 or 3 layers of oil paint. So if you have a bright white flower, you have to wait until you can add the final layer of oil paint, and then it has to be dried, and then you can add the fine, super fine pollen stems. Some flowers have them, especially those lilies. So here I'm changing the form all the time. I'm really awful with this. If I would have planned the painting better in advance, it would have spared me some time. But sometimes my working process is such a mess, and I'm changing things all the time. It's incredible. I don't know why I'm doing it. But well, I think the lily looks better like that. Yeah, I think it's looking quite good now. So I'm making final changes to the form, and what's always super a nice technique is if you take the darker background color. In this case, it's not really black, it's a dark green or blue, and going with it, carving out the form, and also make a smooth border around it. You can carve it out like a hard edge, but in this case I wanted to have a smooth, radiant edge. So, and here I'm painting, this is actually a cherry tree branch. So I'm here adding the first flower. I think I just wanted to try out if it works. It works. Yeah, and then I let it dry, and as you can see, I'm painting the shoulder a little bit. But I know that, yeah, this is a painting, it's dried. Both flowers are dried. I'm painting a little bit around the eyes and the face. I'm never happy how my faces turned out, so I'm working endlessly on my faces. And the lips are beautiful. I love lips, makes me very happy. So okay, here I'm doing now the hair around the figure. I'm adding some hair strings. It's best done when the underground is dried, so you can have super slim and tight hair strings. Is tight the right word? I don't know. Like fine hair strings. If the color is wet, you will have very smudgy hair strings, smudgy brush strokes. If you like that. Okay. And here I'm beginning to paint the cherry tree branch. So in hindsight, I would have done the cherry tree branches a little bit more fine, because not only are they on the reference a little bit thinner, I think they would look more delicate if I would have painted them thinner. So, but this is, they are a little bit thick. So now I'm adding some leaves. When you are painting flowers, it is important that you see the reference in different layers. The background layer, the middle layer, and the first layer. And now I'm adding the leaves, which I think are in the background. So I'm adding some of them, and I'm also try to use different colors for them. Also maybe in the reference they are all pure green, or have like a boring color. I know that leaves have many colors in them, all shades of greens and browns. And especially for leaves, I use this kind of brush, which is flat. By the way, I have for all things I'm painting, I use different brushes, because I figured out if you have a specific technique to paint like trees or flowers or leaves or bamboo or hair or everything, you can, if you have the right brush, it saves you so much time. So here I have a specific technique to paint those rose-like flowers. This technique can also be used for peonies, for example, or for roses, or for all these flowers that have a lot of petals and that have a round shape or an oval shape. And it is important that you have this kind of brush, which has already the form of a petal, like it's slightly rounded and flat, so it looks like a petal. And here you can see that I'm starting off with the form of the flower, which is a sphere, and I'm starting mostly with the darker color of the sphere. You can also start the sphere and make already the light areas. So if you have that, you can add the flower petals to them and just place them in the wet oil color, because then the color of your brush merges with the underground and it looks very three-dimensional. And also the angle how you hold the brush in your hand is very important to make those petals. Maybe you see it how I hold the brush. It's very fast in the video, but I'm turning it all the time, because that has an effect how the petals turn out then. And I'm also mixing a lot of oil medium in my oil paint when I paint petals, because my oil medium I'm using Liquin from Winsor & Newton is a beautiful transparent liquid that gives like gel is it. So you have a transparent paint on your brush, and then you have beautiful transparent petals then when you add when you paint on the canvas. So, and I'm here just adding some petals around those flowers, and when you press the brush onto the canvas, then the petals get automatically a white border, which looks very realistically. It's just automatically, so you don't have to do much. The brush does the work for you. So I'm adding here some details to the leaves, and I'm making some more leaves. Refine the leaves. By the way, all of these flowers could have been done a little bit more refined and detailed, but I used too much oil color in the start, especially with the leaves. Sometimes when I'm more careful in the beginning, it turns out better. Here now I'm continuing with the lily. Like I said, especially white is not opaque, it's the first layer. So here's the second layer of white, and you see it really is more opaque and it's more bright, and I'm adding all the beautiful details of this lily. I really love lilies. In my garden I have so much lilies, and the reference I took for this photo is also a photo from my own lilies. I really love them, and the smell of them is incredibly, it's like you're hypnotized when you smell this scent. There's a part of a lily at the edge of the canvas, and for some reason I think it's important to paint it too. Don't ask me why. You barely see anything, but I'm painting it. Nevertheless, sometimes I'm very stuck to my reference, and I can't stop it. I need to paint what I see. Maybe it's like mental illness or something like that. I don't know. So I'm adding those petals at the right and making some details. Making details on that lily. Some more details. Making the border a little bit better. Here I'm starting the pollen stems. I'm starting with a very fine, small brush, and I'm making at first these green stems. I don't know the correct terms in English. And then I'm making those dark brown, orange, black pollen stems in the second part, because they are over the green things. And then I'm adding some of those beautiful little dots on the flower petals, and some more details. Some more details, some shades. Yeah, you can, if the color is right, you can refine some shades and some contours and make it all a little bit better fitting together. That is what I do when I think my flowers are good but not completely perfect. I wait until it's dried and then I'm working out some more details, because I'm obsessed with details. Some highlights. I'm painting some more flowers to the cherry tree branch. And another branch, I think. Those are leaves of these lilies. So I think I'm done now. I think I'm only painting some trees. Yeah, this is my Bob Ross tree technique. I don't know. I haven't really seen anything from him. Not a full video, only some footage. And I think he paints trees like that, like moving the brush from left to right to make those, like, I don't know. How is it called? Like those Christmas trees? I don't know. My English is not as good, not so good. So as you can see, I'm painting those lips again. I'm smoothing out the upper edge of the lip, because I think lips from women need to be very smooth at the edges, not hard edges. I think it makes them more beautifully. So I'm doing that, making some highlights on the forehead. So I think this is a rough explanation how I do my flowers, and I hope I can explain it better in more videos, and hopefully more eloquently. And there are a lot of other artists that are very good with flower paintings, and my strategy to paint them is not the one only strategy or even the best, and I think sometimes I lose very much time on those details. So I would definitely recommend you to see a lot of other artists who do beautiful flowers and look how they are doing it. Especially on Instagram, just type in flower painting. I think you see some beautiful examples. And if you see some, let me know. I'm always curious to learn more too. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, or on my Patreon page, or on Facebook, or everywhere. And please have a wonderful evening or day, and bye bye!